What if an ancient myth wasn't just a story, but a 9,000-year-old warning hidden in plain sight?
This line comes from an old Sanskrit story. Sounds like a myth, right? But what if it's actually a memory?
So, the big question is, was this just a story or a real event our ancestors actually saw?
The details are so specific. Unbearable light, crazy heat, and a desperate escape south for safety.
Okay, fast forward to 1903. A scholar named Bal Gangadhar Tilak took a closer look at this very story. He used something called precession, think of it as a celestial clock, to try and date the story. He found all these hidden clues, star positions, seasonal markers, that pointed to one specific moment in time. And his calculation was wild. It pointed all the way back to 7200 BCE. But with no hard evidence, his idea was just too old to believe. It was forgotten for over 100 years. The proof he needed would only show up 119 years later, buried deep in the ice. See, huge solar storms leave behind a kind of fingerprint, rare isotopes trapped in ice and tree rings. For perspective, the Carrington event in 1859 was huge, while what they found was way, way bigger. Then, in 2022, scientists found a massive spike of these isotopes. They had no idea about Tilak's work. And the ice cores gave them a precise date for this monster solar storm, 7176 BCE. They double-checked this using tree rings from around the world. It was definitely a global event. Okay, and this is where it gets crazy. You have two totally different methods pointing to the same time. First, you have Tilak's dates, worked out from a story back in 1903. And then you have the date from the ice cores, measured in 2022. The difference? Only 24 years, across 9 millennia. That is not a coincidence. And check this out. The story's details perfectly match what a giant solar storm would actually do. So what does it all mean? That old story wasn't a myth. It was a message. Think of the story as a kind of ancient hard drive built to save critical data for thousands of years. And we know this is possible. Oral traditions have preserved accurate histories for tens of thousands of years. This changes everything. It means we should look at ancient myths as data archives waiting to be decoded. The message, sent 9,000 years ago, finally got through. We just needed ice from Antarctica to hear it.